Good morning. Well, just about morning, nearly lunchtime actually. I'm a bit late on this one today, but here we are, start of week 13, the end of week 12. So this week puts us halfway through the 25-week cycle for the Wales, the Ultra X Wales. And what did we do last week? So Monday was a rest day as always. I didn't actually get out and do any walking either. I was being very lazy on Monday, so I didn't do anything at all. Tuesday then was supposed to be a 10k hill repeat, but again I wasn't in the mood for the treadmill, so I just went out and ran. It sort of turned into an easy tempo interval type run. I wasn't quite sure what I was playing at, to be honest. It certainly wasn't hill repeats, but I did about 10k, just over 10k, just over an hour, which was nice. It was nice to get back out and run properly anyway. So that brought us to Wednesday. Well, I did a little bit of strength training, not a great deal, because I actually went over Yaz Circuit to Yaz Train. I met up with a couple of the lads from work who were going for just for one lap, sort of 5.5k touch. And as it transpires, I just bought a new pair of shoes for running around the streets, and let's say not just running around the streets, let's say half marathon runs as well. And I've invested in a pair of carbon plates. Yes, I bought a pair of Hoka Mac X3s. And having run around Yaz with them last Wednesday, I now see the appeal of carbon plates for road running. I really do. They are so much nicer to run in than my Clifton 10s that I've been using for the last 9 months or so, since last July. They are definitely a much nicer shoe to run in. So I know where I'm sticking going forwards, especially when it comes to road running, and that's a carbon plated shoe. So there, on the back of that then, on Thursday, I had a 12k easy run in the diary, but I went out to do a 12k easy run and I took a wrong turn. Yep, I've only lived around here for 18 years and I took a wrong turn. And I ended up doing about 10.5k instead. Again, it was about an hour and 13, but it was only an easy run, so it was nice and I enjoyed it. It was good fun. Friday then was supposed to be upper body strength training, but I didn't bother. I didn't do it in the end. My shoulder, it's still not right, my shoulder. I'm not quite sure what's going on with it, so I didn't do anything on Friday. Apart from go to bed early. I went to bed very early because Saturday long run was in the book as 30k, to do 30k hilly. Now, the trouble is at the moment, the temperatures are ramping up here really quickly, which meant I needed to be starting about 4 o'clock. I had 5 hours running in mind, starting about 4:30, running till about 9:30 on Saturday morning. That was my plan. It all went to plan. I got up at 3 o'clock, I was out in the desert, started running at 4:20. I did Birdcage Hill 4 times, so up and down to the top 8 times in total. And I got 22k out of it, but by 8:15 in the morning, the temperature had come out quicker than I was expecting it to. So I didn't quite get the 5th run in, which is what I was after. I'd have had about 28k out of it by then, and I'd have just finished off with a couple of k around where we park normally. But it wasn't to be. By 8:30, it was unbelievably hot. So I thought I'll make up for it on the Sunday instead. So I knocked it on the head and I did 22k. I was out for about 3.5 hours basically. I really enjoyed it. I knew about it, that's for sure, but that was more because of the temperature and humidity than fitness or the elevation gain. I had 948 meters, I think. Yeah, 948 meters of elevation gain. So it was nothing to do with that side of it or the distance. It was purely temperature and humidity. So then I came back and I actually did some research then into how I can make up for these not doing the full distances on my long runs because of the climate here. And it basically, what I've figured out is I can do an easy long run on the Saturday and then make the distance up as a very easy run on the Sunday, or I can go cycling. So I've chosen to do cycling, a bit like cross training on the Sunday. And what I've figured out is, so if it's saying that, say I've got 5k to do, it says do it as an easy pace, which is, let's for argument's sake, say 7 minutes a kilometre. That'd be 35 minutes. It basically says to cycle 1.5 times that on time, not distance. So that's what I did. So Sunday then I went down to Hudaira Island, where there's a cycling track, and I did 2 laps. So I did just under 23k. It took me about 70 minutes. So that made up for the lack of distance, the 8 kilometer short of distance from my long run on Saturday. So I think that was all pretty good. Numbers on the doors then for week 12. So running, I pretty much did a total of 47.62 kilometers in 6 hours 36 minutes with an elevation gain of 1,002 meters. Cycling, as I just said, I put 22.98k in with an hour and 10 minutes. And then the total for the week, if you add them both up, it's 70.6k, 7 hours 46 minutes and 1,015 meters elevation gain, which has then brought the total distance for the 12 weeks now, actually, yeah, at the end of 12 weeks, to 497k, 54.5 hours ish, and about nearly 6,000 meters of elevation gain. So still pretty good. It's still looking really good at the moment. I'm still feeling pretty good about it, to be fair. Although after Saturday's long run, I did have concerns until I started doing some research, and I don't think it's going to be an issue that I can't get in like the 30k, or I know coming up there's a 38k as well, 36 and a 38. So now I've researched it and I know I can go out and make up the distance on my bike. I don't think then going back to running the UK climate is going to make that much of a difference, I hope. It all comes down to time on feet, I suppose. So then we're moving into next week, or this week rather, week 13. So I will be going out this evening for a walk. I'll probably just do 6k just to get some time on feet. I'm going to wait for the sun to go down though, because it is blistering again today. We're expecting 40 odd degrees this week. So I've taken to running in the evenings again rather than the mornings. One reason is so I don't have to get up at stupid o'clock, like 4 o'clock. And the other reason is my wife's not here. I've got all the time in the world in the evening, so I might as well go when the sun goes down instead. So I've taken a run in the evening. So today, like I said, we're going to do it's a rest day, but I'm going to go out and do probably 6k walking. Tomorrow is a 11k tempo run in my diary. So that'll be okay. We can do that, no worries. Wednesday, I did definitely intend getting back into probably the lower body and core strength training. I did touch on it this week, but I intend getting into it properly again now from next week onwards. Thursday, 11k easy run, and I will probably get back into the upper body strength training this Friday as well. I know I'm terrible for strength training, I neglect it too much, but I've got to do it. Saturday is only a 16k long run. Well, actually, I think you'll find it was a 24k long run, so I've knocked it down to a 16k long run, with the view that on Sunday I will go out and do another ride like I did this week. I'll do another 23k at Hudaira Island, probably 2 laps around there. That'll give me about another 70 minutes of cycling. Again, what I read was to keep it in zone 2, so I was basically watching my heart rate as opposed to speed on the bike, and I kept it quite low in zone 2, so I might push it a bit harder next time. Just to keep it up, which is good because it actually keeps the aerobic up, if nothing else, and it takes shock loading off the knees, of course. But then again, it is quite cyclic on the knees. So anyway, so that's where we are moving into week 13. We're looking strong. I'm feeling strong. It's just my concerns now are with the climate here going silly as we come into summer. And I got to be in the UK in July for the race. It's like May and June now, training, and into July. It's going to be really painful. I do have the treadmill, but I'd much rather be outside running. But there it is. That's it then. That's where we are at present. So until next time, see you next week.